Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I really hope everyone sticks around to watch this entire video because that's when the payoff's going to happen. When the defense team, or Richard Allen's former defense team, came out with their Odinism theory in a massive 136-page filing called the Franks Memorandum, they named names and potentially ruined the lives of people. People like Elvis Fields, Brad Holder, and others came out publicly on YouTube channels and elsewhere bashing this memorandum, stating that they had alibis, debunking things that was put in the filing, and more. And things got really ugly because whether or not you believe that this sort of thing was intended to be released to the public, well, it was. And look where we are now. The thing that the defense team put out there claimed that Odinism, or Odinists, were the ones that were involved in the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German on February 13th, 2017, in some sort of a, quote, pagan ritual sacrifice. And as silly as that seemed to a lot of people, it sort of got teeth among a lot of people who are online sleuths and others in the YouTube community. And before you knew it, you had people running wild with this theory as if it were known fact, instead of a defense filing. Well, needless to say that what that did was fueled speculation about the police investigation, their hard work, and all of the things that they've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years, and the defense filing seemed, in many people's eyes, to completely undermine Richard Allen's guilt, or alleged guilt. Well, then I asked myself, would a ritual pagan group in broad daylight, nonetheless, march people across an icy creek, even though it was warmer that day, in the middle of February, and then commit that ritual in broad daylight in a large group, yet no one sees anybody else from that large group at the scene? Nowhere are any of these people put on camera. So I started legitimately questioning that theory, and rightfully so. So I asked myself, and this is where the video is going to get interesting, everybody, how easily could I come up with a theory that seems just as silly, but who knows, maybe it has teeth to it? Well, the answer was shockingly simple. I was able to in about a matter of half a day. And as we know from this memorandum, and again, this is a graphic depiction here, even though it's a drawing from Court TV, that shows graphic representation based on the defense's memorandum that Abby and Libby's bodies were posed. If you notice, Abby's body is posed to where she has one foot folded underneath the other leg right here, almost in the pattern of the shape of a 4. If you look here, Libby has one of her arms raised up, touching, it looks like, according to this, a tree. There were all kinds of discussions about whether the sticks were intentionally placed. Was it to send a message? Was it any of those sorts of things whatsoever? Was it runes, as the defense alleged? Well, I started doing some digging, and I thought to myself, boy, the way that these bodies are allegedly posed looks really familiar. And then it dawned on me. It looks familiar because I've seen these poses before on tarot cards. When I was younger, my grandmother used to do tarot card readings. It was sort of a fun, silly thing. Nobody really necessarily believed in it, but she really got into it, so I had some knowledge of that. And so then I went and I looked. What 2 cards in the tarot card deck look like these? Well, lo and behold, you come up with 2 things. You come up with the Hanged Man and the Magician. And if you look here, the Hanged Man has one leg folded under the other, just like Abby has one leg folded under the other here in this depiction of the defense memorandum. And then the Magician, as you can see here on the left, has one arm raised to what appears to be things coming off of a tree. Well, again, here in the visual representation, you have Libby with one arm raised up into the sky at a tree. Interesting, you say, right? Well, it gets more interesting. I want you to take a look at the numbers on these cards. They're card 1 and card 12. You have 2 girls, 2 bodies, 2 cards, number 1 and 12. If you add up the 2, it adds up to 1 and 12 is 13. The girls were killed on the 13th. 2 cards, 1 plus 12, 13, 2-13. Look, everyone, I'm not saying I even believe this ridiculous theory that I even came up with, but my point here is this. Anybody who has time, energy, nothing else to do can come up with any sort of theory that's just as equally plausible as what Richard Allen's defense team came up with. Who knows? Maybe there's even something to this. I would be interested to know if Richard Allen has any tarot cards in his home, and was this staging and posing of these bodies deliberate? Is there really meaning behind it? Or is it just complete BS and complete coincidence, and we're all just trying to solve this case and coming up with wild theories of our own? Hopefully someday we have the answer, because quite frankly, the one thing I've learned studying this case is if people can come up with an idea that seems even semi-plausible, the rest of the internet is going to take that idea and run away with it, even though they don't have access to the case files and they don't know what the police know. So for now, I'm going to let the police continue to do their job and continue to remind everybody this remains an open and active investigation, one in which, as I've repeatedly stated, Prosecutor Nick McClelland has repeatedly stated he believes there is more than one actor involved in this crime. If you know anything about this crime, please reach out to the Delphi Police, the Indiana State Police, or anyone with tips, or the Abby and Libby tip line. Because, again, we need to get to the truth for the victims and for the victims' family members. And again, that's all that matters. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for watching.